toast, yeah? To high treason. That's what these men were committing when they signed the Declaration. Had we lost the war, they would have been hanged, beheaded, drawn and quartered, and my personal favorite, had their entrails cut out and burned.
You know, I used to make jokes about Walt Disney being the media arm of some type of transformation that was being inflicted upon our culture and civilization. As it turns out, I'm probably a lot more closer to the truth than I'd like to admit. I mean, it's not like anybody at Disney's going to listen to me, you, or anyone else, but let's be honest, I'm well beyond the point of needing to be lectured to anymore. How about you? Have you had enough of brainwashing, of influence peddling, of having every IP used as a platform? Especially when that message comes from a company that thanks the guards at a camp where you concentrate and fires strong independent women who hold centrist views and value the First Amendment. So, of course, I'm talking about Disney, and this comes to us from two articles, the first one in Deadline, and then the second one through commentary in Bounding into Comics. In a report from Deadline's Nellie Andreevia, the story claims that National Treasure is now going to be reimagined as a illegal alien virtue signal. Or, no, there's some dreamer. Yeah, it's an undocumented illegal something dreamer. Anyway, it means when you sneak across another country's border without a passport, with no intention of ever leaving. You know, the opposite of legal immigration, which I wholeheartedly support. Alongside producer Jerry Bruckheimer and writers Marianne and Cormac Witterby, they will be reimagining, in other words, completely destroying and social virtuous signaling with what was the National Treasure franchise. This will be a TV show from Disney+. So what type of progressive, loving, judgmental virtue signaling are we going to get from Disney with National Treasure? You're asking yourself that, aren't you? Well, the Deadline article goes on to say that this reimagining will explore, quote, the timely issues of identity, community, historical authorship, and patriotism told from the point of view of Jess Morales, a 20-year-old dreamer who with her diverse group of friends sets off on the adventure of a lifetime to uncover her mysterious family history and recover lost treasure. Heel versus Babyface said it best, with a diverse group of friends go on a diverse adventure and have diverse experiences while experiencing diversity. And let me guess, overlaid with all of that is how much everyone should hate themselves and feel shame over what America is. Did I just spoil your entire show, Disney? All right, I'm going to settle down. So Jess Morales will be taking the torch from Benjamin Gates. That, of course, was played by Nicolas Cage. I remember going to see that movie. It was all right. It was pretty good. One thing it didn't have was a whole lot of social justice, virtue, intersectional, feminist, whatever. It was just a story with Nicolas Cage running around finding artifacts to find a national treasure. While the writers note that Morales is taking the torch, so to speak, she claims that the next film in the National Treasure franchise is still being made. So there's going to be a movie that is entirely unrelated to this agenda-driven propaganda TV show. Why? Because Hollywood is out of ideas and seems to have hired only people who pass the political purity test and are lunatics on Twitter. I'm looking at you, Star Wars writing room. Hey Disney, I have an idea. Instead of pissing all that money away on that propaganda-driven TV show, why don't you give it to the wounded veterans who fought for this country? You know, for the First Amendment, for you to make all those billions of dollars? Or maybe have a show where you have that dreamer / undocumented alien and his diverse group of friends go and meet veterans to, learn about their history, and maybe teach the next generation about gratitude and about how nothing comes easy or is free. Who am I kidding? Look who I'm talking about. And again, I am going to quote the Bounding Into Comics article. Quote, "The show's main protagonist is an illegal immigrant, and the main focus of the show is going to be about identity," unquote. I'll amend that and say identity politics, a woke globalist agenda, and loaded with intersectional feminism. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Bounding Into Comics calls it. This reeks of wokeness and propaganda, which is what Hollywood is. It is. You tell me what's come out. I mean, literally, what has come out that is not some type of either overt or covert re-education, guilt-tripping, anti-American screed? I happen to agree what John F. Trent is saying here is that gone are the days of entertaining films. You know, something like The Terminator, Die Hard, Con Air, oh my God, and even National Treasure. You know, you go to the theater to forget about your problems. You spend way too much money on popcorn. You spend way too much money on soda and Twizzlers. You sit down and you lose yourself. I mean, I don't know who is giving these people advice, although let's be honest, have you thought about the fact that maybe they just don't care what we want anymore? And that they're going to do this regardless of how bad it bombs and regardless of how people don't want to see it, because the critics are going to tell them it's great. And do you know why? Do you know why those critics praise Disney? Because whatever publication they work for wants that Disney advertising money. And ain't no way Disney gonna advertise in your publication or website if you call it what it is. The Bounding Into Comics article echoes what it is that I've said. That is, if you think these large media corporations are not pushing an agenda, this report should quickly disabuse you of that notion. After all, boys and girls, there's only one kind of think. Everything else is wrong think. Ask Gina Carano. She'll tell you. And of course, the article from Bounding Into Comic wraps up by saying it's all about whacking you over the head with a radical left-wing political agenda in an attempt to indoctrinate as many people as they possibly can. Does someone want to tell them it's not working? Does someone want to tell them it's actually having the opposite effect? You know, I'm not even pissed off anymore. I'm not even sad. I'm just full of disgust. You know, we spent last summer watching idiots in the street taking sledgehammers to statues and trying to rename elementary schools and erasing icons from American history. Well, here comes Disney. They're going to be an ally to that cause. You know, there's a word that Yellow Flash likes to use, and it's trash. I'm going to tell you right now, that National Treasure TV show, it's just going to be one big pile of stinking anti-American intersectionalist trash. God knows the idiots on Twitter are going to love it. And after all, that's who Disney really cares about. Oh, and, you know, they're good friends across the Pacific. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm Corey B., and this is Salty Salish C.